FarmTuah, growing that thing. Welcome, listeners, to another episode of FarmTuah. I'm your host, Henry, and today we're going on an unexpected journey into the fields of Europe. It's a little less dramatic than typical battles and revolutions, but trust me, the revolution we're talking about today is huge. It's all about farming. Yes, farming, but not the kind you're thinking about. This is the agricultural revolution, and things are about to get real interesting on the farm. Joining me today are two very special guests. First up, we have Farmer Noah, the passionate spokesperson for traditional farming methods. Welcome, Noah.
Well, howdy, Henry. It's a real pleasure to be here talking about good old days. Back when we worked the land the right way, open fields, shared pastures, and a bit of elbow grease, if you know what I mean.
That's right, Noah. You're here to represent the good old days of farming in Europe, before everything changed. But let's introduce our other guest. Joining us to shake up those old ways is Josh, a futuristic thinker who's ready to revolutionize the way we grow food. Welcome, Josh.
Hey, Henry, thanks for having me. I'm here to talk about how the agricultural revolution will take farming to the next level. No more old school back-breaking farming. We're talking about crop rotation, potato power, and draining marshes for new farmland.
Sounds like we've got quite the farm off today. But before we dig in, let's set the stage. It's the late 17th century. Back then, about 80% of people in Western Europe were working agriculture, and they were struggling with bad harvests and low food production. Noah, I know you love the old ways, but why wasn't farming working back then?
Well, Henry, it's simple. We grew wheat on the same soil every year, and soil gets tired. We didn't have the best tools or techniques, and when the climate went wild, like every 8 or 9 years, when we'd have a bad harvest, that's when famine hit, and a lot of us were left hungry. Trust me, we did not have much to give back to the land.
Noah. It's exactly why we needed the revolution. You see, in the early 18th century, people like me, crop scientists and engineers started saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't plant the same crop every year. We came up with crop rotation, alternating between wheat, beans, and oats, and get this, letting the soil rest. It's like giving your land a vacation.
A vacation for the soil. That's a good way to put it. But there's also something about manure. Am I right, Noah?
Don't even get me started on manure. Henry, back in the day, we did not have enough of it. But you know what? Josh here is onto something with his crop rotation talk. The soil could get nutrients back through crops like clover, which fixes nitrogen. Basically a fancy way of saying more fertilizer.
That's right, Noah. And guess what? We also started using new crops like potatoes. Oh yeah, the humble potato. It came all the way from the New World, and suddenly we could feed more people. Peasants are eating better, and they have more fodder to feed animals. More animals equals more manure. And trust me, that is a game changer.
So, is manure the key to success? I feel like I'm learning more than I thought I would. Now, Noah, you're still holding on to those old farming ways, right? What's your take on this revolution?
Well, I get it, I do. You can't argue with the results. New crops, better soil, and fewer famines. But you know what? Not everyone is on board. A lot of people don't like the idea of enclosure. I'm talking about putting up fences and turning open fields into private land. That means less space for grazing, and it hurts a lot of small-time peasants like me.
Yeah, the enclosure movement is tricky. It's working in some places like England and the Dutch Republic, but it's making it harder for some folks. But here's the thing. In the long run, those private fields could be farmed more efficiently. Farmers could experiment with new techniques without worrying about stepping on each other's toes.
Speaking of experimenting, Josh, we have a short word from our sponsor, Jethro Tull.
Alright, gotta plant the old crops. I don't even know where to put these things.
Hi, I'm Jethro Tull, and if you need help planting your seeds, I'm your guy. With my new invention, the seed drill, anyone can plant seeds correctly. The seed drill reduces manual labor and perfectly plants the seeds at the right depth, evenly spacing out the seeds, improving crop yields and saving time. If you want to purchase, send a carrier pigeon to 426 Berkshire Road.
Thanks, Mr. Toll. Now I'm a real farmer.
Anytime, Noah.
Welcome back to FarmTuah. Now, I've got to ask about some of those amazing inventions. You mentioned Jethro Tull and his seed drill. What's the deal with that?
Oh, you bet. Jethro Tull, he's one of the coolest guys in farming. He created the seed drill, which plants seeds evenly in rows at the perfect depth. No more scattering seeds by hand, hoping for the best. This gives farmers a much higher crop yield and saves a lot of time. He was telling me about the seed drill at the bar last Saturday.
Okay, I admit it. The new tech does help, but I still miss the community feel of the old way. It wasn't just about crops, it was about us working together. But sure, I'll give Toll a thumbs up for making our jobs easier-ish.
Well, there you have it. The old world versus the new world of farming. And let's not forget, these changes are having a huge impact on population growth. Better food equals more people. It isn't all roses, though. Rural workers have to adjust to new systems, and the shift from peasants owning land to being wage laborers isn't easy. But that's a story for another time. Thank you, Noah and Josh, for this fun and informative farm off today.
FarmTuah, growing that thing.